May I ask you a question along the lines of deja vu? This one pertains to elaborating a little more on deja vu, where actually feeling a situation is happening, say dialogue that is happening, which one is familiar with, that for whatever reason, either one had some future knowledge that it would happen or it wouldn't have happened. I went through a situation, a period of my life where I would get these normal deja vu feelings, only I said, well, this time I'm also somewhat aware of what will happen in the very, very near future, and I think I'll change it. And I might change a few lines of dialogue or move slightly differently or something. I went through a period of time where I was changing what I felt was to happen in what I would feel to be a deja vu type feeling. Of course, after a while, I couldn't experience a spontaneous deja vu after doing that until a few years later. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes, this life could be a rerun. And the truth is, you cannot change too much in a rerun. There was a naughty guy in college with me, very naughty fellow, but he had never seen movies and so on. He was in a village and he came, joined college, and I said, have you ever seen a movie? He said, no. He said, people move about on a screen. So he went to see a movie with me. And in that movie, a woman takes off her clothes and jumps into a pool. But when she's taking off her clothes, there's a railway track from where these people are watching, and a train passes in front. So you can't see the nude woman there. Because by the time the train is gone, she's already in the water. And then the next scene comes. That guy went 5 times to the movie, hoping one day it'll be late. The train will be late. In a rerun, the same things happen. You can't change too much. You feel you could change. The deja vu is coming because each one of our lives has been picked up as a complete cassette, as a complete picture, complete role. And we are actually rerunning it. You will find later on when I talked of the causal region and the mental region, at the causal region, consciousness picks up a particular life pattern, and review of the life pattern is what's happening here. We think we are living. We could have just entered at that point and we quit when we have just reviewed one picture. So the deja vu comes from the fact we've seen it before. That means seeing the future also before. At that level, you can move freely to the future and the past at an amazing speed. You don't have to go at the speed of life. Now we are moving at the speed of life, physical life. But you can move faster than that, jump ahead and see. You'll see a lot of people having experiences where they see one thing, which is 7 days ahead, in dreams or elsewhere. The most classic case investigated by the parapsychologist was in London, where a woman opened a newspaper in the morning and she saw that her friend Mrs. Jones had passed away. There was an obituary notice at the bottom of the 3rd page or somewhere. She said, oh my God, she was so fine, I met her last night. And how could she have died so quickly? And she also noticed that in the notice, Jones, Jones, which was her name, the E was inverted. A printing error, a typing error. That in the printing of that paper, the E had been put upside down. The rest was the same. Struck by this sorrow of losing a friend, she was thinking of moving over to her house. She was a neighbor. When another neighbor, Mrs. Brown, came over and said, Mrs. Smith, you look so sad. She said, have you seen the paper? Mrs. Jones passed away last night. She says, don't be stupid. I just had coffee with her. I just coming from her house. She's fine. She says, no, but how could somebody play such a trick? She said, what? Somebody's put this kind of a notice in the paper? She said, yes, see it. And she opened the paper and they could not find that notice. And she kept on seeing. She said, must be another page. I saw it just now. Even the E was inverted. And they traced every inch, and that neighboring Mrs. Brown said, Mrs. Smith, I think we're getting old. We need some rest. You should take some coffee. Sleep today. She said, what do you mean? You think I'm insane? I'm crazy? I saw with my own eyes. But she couldn't prove because it wasn't there in the paper anymore. And she felt so bad about it. Of course, that night, that evening, Mrs. Jones died. And the notice was sent to the paper, and that very paper of next day had that notice exactly in the place where she saw, with the E inverted. What does it mean? The printer's mistake was also known beforehand. Of course, the whole thing is programmed. It's very hard for us to believe that every bit of our life here is predetermined if we go to the highest level from where it is predetermined. As we come lower down, the free will becomes more and more real. When we see in the Akashic record, there is no free will. When we come to the astral region, there is free will. We can interfere with things and change them. When we come to the physical, it's full free will. We are deciding everything for ourselves here. But the fact we think like this and decide is also pre-recorded. That we will think like this and make up our mind on these considerations and say we have freely chosen is also pre-written totally. So it depends on the level of consciousness, how much free will we really have or we don't have. Right here we seem to have full free will. Some people say, which is better, to have free will or not to have free will?